Welcome, everybody. A legend returns. The RoadKill Restarsow. All the way back in episode 3, I fixed the car up with a very worn out 291 cubic inch V8, threw a supercharger on it, went and drag raced the OG Barstow, and yeah, from there, the engine blew up. Of course, if you're going to shove boosts through an engine, it's bound to happen. So we threw in a newly refreshed 291 cubic inch V8 with a 4-speed manual and a supercharger. I think this thing has a stage 2 supercharger on it. I'm not sure. It might be a stage 1. From there, we also threw on some muscle car mags onto it for some nice shoes. And yeah, this thing has sat since. I haven't worked on it. I haven't touched it. It's been in videos. It was in episode 10 for the shootout. It was in episode 20 for the shootout. It was in 24 or 25 for the episode with the Viper and the Mustang. And yeah, it's just been one of those roadkill cars that I'm happy with it. Of course, this car is outdated. I can say that for sure. That's going to be the whole baseline of this roadkill projects because first of all, I basically have 2 months off from doing roadkill right now. I'm not going to be doing episode 30 yet. That's probably going to be starting mid-September. But I'm not going to need this car until like one of the final episodes. Where's my paper? Let me look. Where's my paper? Yeah, no, Restarsow is going to be in one of the last parts of the episode. So I'm not going to need this car for a while. And I would technically consider this car will being one of my cars. This is like one of my own vehicles. It's not like, just a roadkill vehicle for the fleet and for the videos. This is one of my cars. And I have a few of them. I have the Cornet, which will be on a future episode of Projects, hopefully. There's the Power Wagon, which will be in a future episode as well. We're going to be putting a bigger lift on it and portal axles. What else is a car that I would call my own? The General Hawk is a car that I'd call my own. There's also the Death Metal Barstow, which will be... I don't know if it'll be on projects, but you'll definitely see it in the shootout for episode 30. So, yeah. But this car right here, this thing's monumental to me. This thing means a lot, and this is really only one out of like maybe 2 or 3 roadkill cars that never lets me down. This car always runs, it always works, it has no issues, it's kind of fast, good diff in it, good tires, it corners okay. This is literally all around the perfect project, like daily type car. This thing is all around perfect. I'd never paint this thing. This car is legitimately perfect to me. Of course, it is missing a few things. I'm never going to cage it. I'm never going to put a roll cage in it because the car's never going to go fast enough for that. Maybe one day I'll do a 100 shot of nitrous, but we're not doing that in this episode. So basically what I want to do is I want to freshen up the car, basically. I'm going to give it new exhaust. We're going to give it some nice new exhaust. It's still gonna go behind the car. It's still going to have mufflers, nothing crazy. We're going to put some racing seats in it. I thought at least, since I do track the car, I'm going to put some hardcore racing seats in it. Might look into the diff a little bit. It might look into the shocks a little bit. Put heavy duty shocks on instead of keeping the stock suspension in the car. It's going to keep the leaf springs and maybe upgrade the supercharger if it's not a stage 2. So, yeah, that goes to show you. I haven't messed with any of the parts of this car in so long that I don't even know what's on it. All as I know is that the car is making about 350 to 400 horsepower. So, all around, it's a perfect car. And the reason why that I'm doing this is because that in the future, Sean has actually built a Barstow called Black Betty. So I think we're going to do Restarsow versus Black Betty at some point. Oh, also, yeah, I wanted to put a new axle in it. I was going to put a GRS rear end in it, which is a part of the last Barstow mod. I wanted to put a GRS axle in it because give it a little bit more for racing. I think it gives me a few more differential options. Makes the gearing a little bit better, and it looks cooler. But just to prove how good of a car this is. It's good. It handles well. It does awesome burnouts. I do gotta say, for being a low-powered car, it does awesome burnouts. It's got the supercharger whine now. All around, I could drive this car any day. If I had it, I'd drive it any day. Of course, the 4-speed is a little worn out. Oh yeah, I wanted to do brakes in the radiator. That was the other thing. I was going to put GRS brakes on the car. Depending how they make it stop, I might switch it back to the drum brakes and the discs in the front with the racing pads on it only. Depends how the car handles, if it stops weird or anything. Because for some reason the muscle cars, if you put disc brakes on them all around, they don't stop right. Mods at least. Unless it's something tunable. Well, that's flipping, but yeah, there you go. Just trying to fix my mic. That's not a handling issue. It's just my fault. But yeah, all around, this is the perfect car. So first of all, what I want to go and see is what it has for the engine. It's the 291. Yeah, stage 1 supercharger. So probably what we'll do is, wow. This thing is the stock long block in it. I thought this had a performance long block in it. I thought I changed that so the car wouldn't have over rev. This thing never over revs. And it's a stock long block. Again, like I've said, this is the only roadkill car that I think I could ever trust. And that's actually what we're doing. We're going to road trip up the main. I think I have the Power Wagon up there, which we're going to be doing a video on that thing next. And yeah, I think I only have the Power Wagon up there. Other than one of the ETKs and the Mustang, but the Mustang is in a shop, so yeah. Alright, well, let's just go down the list. The bumper's fine, fuel tank fine, I'm not going to put a fuel cell in it. Glass is alright, V8 lettering, louvers fine, okay, it's fine. Driver's seat. I don't know why I want to put the racing seats in it. I think they just look better. I want this car to be comfortable, but a lot of the times people say that racing seats in their cars are a lot better and a lot more comfortable. Oh, you know what? Here's a little Easter egg. I forgot that this was on the fender. From the junkyard, it says 423 on the side. That's probably the original motor that this car had. Oh yeah, the bench seats are removed. I don't remember if I removed the bench seats. That'd probably have to be something that I'd look up in... whatchamacallit? Look up in episode 3 of RoadKill all the way back then. Fine. The doors are fine. Fenders are fine. The hood's fine. Subframe, alright. Bumper's okay. The engine, we're gonna have to put a stage 1 long block in it. Maybe a stage 2. I don't want to overbuild the car. I don't want the car to make... Probably just off of the long block, it's going to make a little bit more power. I bet this thing probably makes 500 now with that. Especially if I do the exhaust, which is Sport Exhaust D, I think. Yep. I necessarily do not like the look of that. I honestly think it looks pretty bad. But at the same time, I like the look of it. And now this car will crackle and pop. Because this is a performance exhaust rather than just a stock Barstow exhaust on it. We're going to leave the supercharger off because I would like to see what kind of power it's making with just the performance long block. We're going to put a super radiator in it. Should keep the car cooler because the car does get kind of hot. Yeah, it's all stock shocks. We're going to leave that too. But we're going to try the disc brakes. Yeah. The front red disc brakes. I don't know why I want them to be red. I just like the look of red brake calipers. Plus, you're going to be able to see them. And yeah, it's still the full race brake pads. Wonderful. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're not doing that. This is the chrome one. That kind of look cool if it was a chrome axle. Make it look like it's new. Oh, hell yeah, that looks awesome. That looks like it's brand new. Yeah, we're keeping that. No sway bar on it, though. That kind of worries me. And the rear GRS disc brakes. Did I put race brakes in the front? Is that the difference I'm seeing or doing here? No. Okay. We're fine. Yeah. Oh, good. And the diff, I don't think I have, yeah, I don't really have any other options. Well, the diff in this thing is perfect anyways, so, yeah. Now, trunk, no, we're not going to wing on it. Alright, well, there we go. So I'm going to bring up the power app, or the torque graph. Let's see how much power this thing is making. Oh. So this thing is only making 396 horsepower, but it's making 508 pound-foot of torque. And that's with the performance block. So this thing is probably making about 350. I thought this thing made about 400. Well, that's making about 400. So if I toss that stage 2 on there, is it going to be too much power? Because if I kick up to like 550, 600, I'm taking it off. Because I want the car to still be drivable, but a little faster. My guess is it's going to be too fast. Well, too much power to the rear. No. 473, that's not a bad number. It's not a bad number at all. Let's give it a try. Yeah, crackles and pops now. It's got more kick to it. I like it. Yeah, the brakes lock up really, really good. A lot faster. Doesn't have the trans for it. Oh yeah, This thing's probably gonna top at 120 with the 4-speed in it. That's not that bad. But, yeah. Yeah, you can still kinda... You can still stop it pretty good. Yeah, well, it stops obviously better with the disc brakes all around. I don't know, let's see. Let's see if we're taking a corner. Well, yeah, they are locking up unless you go really hard on them. Yeah, they lock up a lot better. I think we're good. So I think I'm gonna get the road trip in this thing. I think we're gonna get ready and leave. Get on the road, get it across the country, basically. Get this poor car home. Well, not home, since technically it's been out here for the longest time. But get it up there to where we're gonna be doing all of the modifications to the Power Wagon. Alright. The road trip went without a single issue. The car ran great. It didn't break down at all. It didn't overheat. Nothing happened. This thing runs like a champ. But basically there wasn't anything that interesting happened along the way. It's basically the same road trip like we took at the Skull Basher. Sorry. But yeah, it's basically like the same trip that we took in the Skull Basher. Long trip through the tail of the dragon, through the desert. And this thing withstood it all. And we're home. There you go. The good old girl is home. Well, at least for a couple weeks, I'd imagine. Well, maybe it's like the end of October I'll probably need this thing again, but it's better that it's up here. I know I'm gonna need the truck soon, that's why I gotta get it done. And yeah. But while we're up here, I do want to show the separate garage that we have up here in Maine. And it has a few of my vehicles there. Well, yeah, it has all of my vehicles there. Probably where this thing's gonna sit. But yeah, I just thought it'd be cool to show them. You'll get to see the cornet and the death metal Barstow. And my charger. That's waiting to be in an episode eventually. So, yeah. Just to go through these three cars here that you've never seen before. The Barstow over there is the death metal Barstow. So basically, when I got rid of the 6-pack Caldera and I gave it to Sean, I got that thing instead to be a project car. And the death metal Barstow was originally going to be Project Turbo 6, but I couldn't fit the motor in it. And yeah, ton of things didn't go right with the car. So I just threw a Venom 418 cubic inch V8 in it with a gasser stack intake on it. I put a posi in the back of it, and yeah, rims and tires. That's it. That's why it's called the Death Metal Barstow. The orange car, which was basically my replacement for a nice project car, that's the Cornet, or the Super B. It's a 1968 Dodge Corvette Super B. I think that's the year. If not, it might be a little newer, like a 70. But yeah, doesn't have much done to it. It is a 440 in it. It's got a supercharger on it. It's got a cowl intake hood. It's got some nice 5-spoke sport muscle car rims. It's got disc brakes all around. And side pipes. So, yeah. But then the Charger, which is going to be in a future episode, no, that is not the General Mayhem 68 Charger. That thing is gone. It's been replaced with a Moonhawk with the skin. But that is a completely separate Dodge Charger of my own. It has no motor in it right now. It's basically just a shell with suspension. It doesn't have that good of suspension, but yeah. Eventually, I might build the car, road trip it out, and do an autocross or go drag racing with it or something in a future projects episode. Not anytime soon. The car's not going to be in episode 30, but I do have a lot of time between when episode 30 is going to be releasing, and there'll probably be at least a month between when I really have nothing to record and I'm doing episode 30s type stuff. So, yeah. But that's going to do it. That's basically a little update within this, since I haven't really been doing RoadKill extras that much. So, yeah. This is the little separate garage we have. This is actually where we're going to be doing the portal axle swap and a few other things to the truck. We're going to be lifting it a little higher, putting some... I don't know if I'm going to leave the stock suspension, but I might put some off-road suspension on it, because the Power Wagon's basically my own tow vehicle, so I kind of need the truck to be able to tow stuff. But yeah, there you go though. That's this episode of RoadKill Projects, and we'll see you next time.